So I wanted to send you these, and they hit the spot. There's that face touching thing again. Finding that there's zero value in that in the long run. Mommy's over here. I'm on the other side of my camera. I have emotions I gotta deal with as a man. Hello, and we are back for another episode of Welcome to Medins. It has been a little while, so pardon me if I am a little out of practice. There has been quite a bit going on, and for someone who doesn't have like a regular career type job, I wasn't really expecting life to be as busy as it has been. But between working at Nautical Bowls, now traveling with Corey Greenwood again for Corey Greenwood Speaks, and doing band stuff, working on Welcome to Medins, also doing product testing and reviewing for Medins Make Music, helping Basecamp Hope, church. There's all sorts of things going on. I'm going to be preparing to go on another trip with Corey, but my plan is to pre-record more episodes. That way I can release those while I'm gone and have that well set up for even afterward, that I'm not like late the following week. I'm filming this on Tuesday night of this week. It will be released on Thursday on Spotify and Friday on YouTube. So there's just a lot going on. And again, I am sorry for the inconsistencies. I had actually been doing pretty well after things had kind of gotten going, and I had committed to doing this regularly after January of this year. And then kind of hit a rough spot, admittedly, where I don't want to say necessarily I was dealing with depression. I do feel like I was dealing with a fair amount of anxiety, and maybe someone would call it depression. I was having some issues with the motivation to post on the daily videos, and then feeling like an absolute idiot in front of the camera, just like, my mom, my grandma, maybe my aunt, if I'm lucky, are listening to these. And this isn't a pity party, but just feeling like it wasn't quite going where I was hoping it would be at this point in the year of posting the shorts and reels daily and then releasing these weekly, working on picking up momentum with Spotify, now even looking at getting on X, formerly known as Twitter, all of these different things. It was just kind of hard to sit in front of the camera and be like, what am I going to talk about that is actually worth anything? Worth anything to our viewers, the listeners on Spotify, anyone even just on social media with the shorts and stuff, like the interactions and engagement I was receiving with these shorts for kind of the episodes to promote the upcoming episode weren't that great. Admittedly, everyone loved seeing my kids, which was great. They are adorable. I love seeing them too. But I've kind of been working away from having my kids on camera for a lot of privacy reasons for them, as well as just, I don't know, I don't want my kids to have to grow up with the pressures of social media. Seeing this generation dealing with the anxieties of always looking good, sounding good for TikTok and Instagram, YouTube, and for the limited younger generation that is on Facebook dealing with those anxieties. It's just like, I don't want my kids to have that pressure, because none of these things, the social media and associated things, like those don't define who you are, and they don't give you value. And that's what a lot of kids are struggling with, is they think they're going to get their value from these things, but they're finding out they could post as much as they want. They can try to be the cool kid, try to go viral, whatever it may be in social media, to get all the followers, maybe even get some celebrities to like them. I don't know. Finding that there's zero value in that in the long run, and struggling with what that means for who they are. Are they worth it? And yes, all of you absolutely are worth it. social media shouldn't define you. And I guess I was kind of dealing with that struggle myself of feeling like the lack of viewership and engagement on YouTube in particular. Like YouTube is more so the media format that is doing the best out of all of ours. We have very limited following on Instagram, but that is where I go to edit all of our shorts and reels. And I was going, my engagement isn't that high. The viewership isn't that high. My followers aren't just like jumping through the roof to see the next upcoming episode. So I suppose, kind of getting down on myself about that. And what do you know, dealing with the struggle that all the youth were dealing with, where they were letting social media define them. And if it wasn't going well, they're starting to get anxious about it and starting to get kind of depressed in the fact that they weren't becoming one of the popular people. I've honestly kind of given in to, and again, this is not a pity party. There's that face touching thing again. That I don't think I'll ever probably be one of those popular people, which is kind of become fine with me, which is also kind of giving me the freedom to just make content I want to make. And if you guys like it, you like it. Awesome. If you don't, you don't. But I have the chance to be able to practice videography. One day, maybe even cinematography. I get to practice my lighting techniques. I get to practice my audio engineering. And in the past few shorts and reels that you all have seen, I'm working on kind of all those things together at once with my product reviewing for the Medins Make Music page with PJ, Tyler, Daniel, and Drew, working things out with Deborah Audio, showcasing their products, and working with some other companies that we have coming up as well, which I'm really excited about. Just getting to have fun doing that. And as I've been watching content get created, realizing that you don't really have to do it a certain way to be like everyone else. You can just kind of be all creative in whatever way you want to create what it is you want. One of the things I've been working on, and one of the fun facts about Medins is it's filmed here at our house, and so I'm watching my sister-in-law wave to my niece. It's really cute. So like trying to get her attention real quietly. But what you all didn't see, and because she's not tall enough, is she walked in front of the camera and went over to the room. So I'm going to help her out quick. Mommy's looking for you. Oh, yeah. You see her? This is a fun moment. Yeah, Mommy's over here. I'm on the other side of my camera. Yeah. And now she's waving with a smile. They're kind of going through their bedtime routine right now, which is also another fun thing, just getting to live life. We all have our different routines here at night. But anyway, one of the things I've been doing is wanting to help Nautical Bowls. And what's great is the owners of this branch of it let all of us participate in the content creation. And they aren't going, no, it's got to be this certain kind of content. It's just like, hey, if you have a creative idea, give it a try. Some of this stuff will land, some of it won't. So I've been going through my reels, probably in my horrible scrolling pits that I've been in at times, seeing small coffee shops or restaurants make all these kind of really cool, very simple reels and shorts that are just kind of fun and engaging. So I've been borrowing some of those ideas and then trying to come up with some of my own. But one of the things I've noticed is just they aren't sticking to a particular pattern. It's just that coffee shop owner or that employee has this idea. Now I'm going to do it. It's kind of funny. And there's probably posts I'm not seeing because they aren't getting a ton of likes, a lot of comments, a lot of shares, a lot of remixes, whatever it may be. So you don't necessarily see all of those. But some of the other ones I've seen have been like, I probably would have just created that for the heck of it and posted it. And here they are doing that. So that's kind of been inspiring to me as well, is the standard of content creation has been changing. It not necessarily lessening in this sense, but just changing more to the small content creators and the small companies. And that's been a lot of fun because it makes me feel like I really can just make content that makes me happy, to express this form of humor or express this form of creativity or try out this camera angle or idea or color change or lighting circumstance, whatever it may be. And I've really just been enjoying that. But then I also still see, I love watching movies and being like, oh, what would it be like if I use that kind of camera shot with, say, a podcast mic or a drum mic and mic simulator, kind of what I'm using right now. Hopefully one day with this kind of cymbal or this sort of drum or this computer or whatever it may be. There's all sorts of different goods that you can take pictures of and all sorts of different stylings. But using kind of cinema level, cinematography to try out this content creation world and just kind of make it my own and working hard. It is really hard. So I'm not saying I just gave up this false pressure on me of wanting to really appeal to you guys and appeal to more viewers and listeners. But going, you know what? I think one of the things people are really looking for these days are authentic people who are genuine. Like, basically, Sean, stop putting on a show. Be who you are. Some people like you, some people won't. That's just fine. And being okay with that. So I'm working on being okay with the fact that some of my content will land, some of it won't. Some people will like me, some people won't. And I suppose that's a challenge all of us deal with. So I still actively have to work through that realization of some people aren't going to like this. This post will only get a couple tens of views. I feel really good if a post gets a couple thousand. Like, that's big for me. And a few hundred is like the medium. So, I mean, if the short from this gets like 300 views, like, yeah, at least people are seeing it. That's cool for me. So kind of coming back down to a place of being okay, taking videos, talking about life and whatever in the world is on my mind. Like, initially when I started this episode, I didn't have a specific idea in mind of what it was I was going to talk about. I was just going to start talking to the camera and see what came of it. And here we are talking about social media and the pressures that put on us. Me in my 30s now, and even more so on kids that are coming up wanting to be YouTubers at a very young age. I didn't really realize I wanted to give YouTube a shot until till Welcome to Medins started 2 years ago, I think. And before that, I was always like, it'd be cool to be an influencer, get really big on social media, but not really in for me. I don't really have the face for that, nor do I really have the personality for that. But then be like, my family is pretty entertaining. And you all got to see an interview with Catherine and Tyler last week that was recorded live in front of our audience at Backyard Bash. And then you got to see PJ and Daniel. That episode was also recorded just right before in front of a live audience, which was really exciting. It was fun getting to engage with people, actually like look people in the eye, versus feeling very weird at the fact that I'm making eye contact with my camera lens. Still feels kind of awkward. And then you got to talk with my mom. Before that, is quite a few episodes of just me, like this one, and then Deborah before that, and working on kind of having a decent, even mix. Pretty soon here, I have a buddy of mine that I met this past summer who learned about our family years and years ago from a common youth pastor, Keith Beckwith. He said, "Oh, I've heard all sorts of stories. I've known of you guys for years." He's like, "When can I be on Welcome to the Medins?" And I'm like, "Well, whenever you're free, I guess." So just so you know, that episode's coming. It may be a little unhinged. We'll find out when we get there. I think it'll be quite entertaining. My friend has a very engaging personality. He's very funny, very outgoing. He's somehow even more extroverted than I am, which blew my mind initially when I got to get to know him. But I've loved it. My buddy Evan, who I'm hoping to bring in here to talk about sensitivity as a man, that has been a huge topic for me this year. And I think one of the hard things, and I've talked about in the past few episodes, realizing I have emotions I got to deal with as a man, and I can have those. That is completely okay. It doesn't make me less manly. I actually become more of a man because I become more sensitive, but having control of those emotions and not letting them control me and not just stuffing them down, because you may stuff them down and you can only stuff so far before it all blows up, and you end up having an emotional breakdown in front of a bunch of people, which is even more embarrassing than, say, just crying in front of your wife and kids once. There was one day or 1 week where I cried like most every day of the week because I was dealing with things. And that was kind of during the period of time I wasn't posting. I wasn't recording these episodes because I'm having to relearn how to deal with this stuff. And then you throw in the pressures of social media. Who knew that was going to be kind of a straw that would help break the camel's back and start pulling out those emotions along with things that one of my kids is going through. Like, nothing quite breaks your heart as a dad, like as a man, until something happens when you're kids and they're struggling. And like one night I was asking we were having this big family gathering for a friend of ours celebrating him. So Matt, who you're going to get to meet soon, came into our family. We were celebrating his birthday because he's a very important part of our family. Everyone's there. And I was like, you know what? I've been praying for my daughter. I haven't been seeing this change happen for her. Maybe if I pleaded to God with the rest of my family, he would hear me and help her and touch her and heal her where she's at. So I had my daughter on my lap. Everyone's there, and said, "Hey guys, hey, sorry to kind of interrupt all the festivities and the laughter. I got something that's kind of serious going on. This is a struggle our daughter's dealing with." And in the midst of it, like, I started crying. And I did battle and like hold back the sobbing so that way I could at least explain to my family what was going on. But I was just started crying for my family. I haven't cried in front of my family in a long time. So there's just all sorts of fun jazz going on here at the Medin house. Hopefully showing you guys how very real of people we are. We aren't a bunch of Christianese robots who can just talk Bible all day long and don't ever have any issues because all is good. We're humans, and as I had to discover, I'm a human who feels like bawling his eyes out, who struggles with stuff, who loses motivation to pursue his dreams, who struggles and then struggles even more when my kids or my wife are dealing with something. So we're very much real people, and it is so hard being real because there's so much emotion and so much vulnerability involved in being real that I was just not ready for. But it's been opening up and becoming more of a thing, which also has really been helping me to be able, like I mentioned quite a few episodes back, helping me to be able to better understand other people and their struggles. And then actually, my voice just broke, is like puberty years later, actually relate to my wife even more, which has been fantastic. Like if I'm struggling, I'm dealing with all this stuff. And I want my wife to be understanding towards me while I'm on the struggle bus hardcore. When she's understanding for me, how much more so should I be understanding for her in the times that she is dealing with stuff? Or even my own kids. How much more should I be understanding and empathetic to meet them where they're at emotionally, rather than being like, rub some dirt on it or do some right, you'll be okay. Just shove those tears down and we'll get past it. Not being like that, but actually being like, babe, sorry, let me just give you a hug right now. Let's just sit in this, and then let's talk this out. Let's pray together, and we'll get through it together. Because now I am here as your helpmate. I want to be your best friend, not your enemy. We're in this together. I'm not against you. But I'm here to support you and encourage you and get you through this, through the giftings that I have to contribute to you. And then with my kids, I don't know why this was such a story. Like when they were like crying and hurt or sad about something, like it was kind of hard for me to just stop and give them a hug. I would get very much so into like immediate dad mode of correcting and telling them to get over it and doing whatever I could to just kind of get the situation over with, to then watching my wife hug them and see them receive the love from her and have that actually help them more. That now it's like, oh, I should be doing that. Like, yes, there is a time for rubbing dirt on it, and you have to get over something very quick because of a situation may demand a sudden change right now. Not all situations are life and death and necessarily require that. Now, you do need to figure out that ever-growing nuance of emotional control and expression. And I've been going through that and learning that. So now, at the age of 30, trying to help my kids get that at a very early age. So now when they're my age, they aren't dealing with these struggles that I honestly should have probably learned to deal with when I was like, I don't know, at least 10, somewhere between 10 and 20. Mastered that, got over it, and then I'd probably be so much further along than I am right now. I want my kids to get a lot farther than me in life, and so if I can help them learn lessons I'm having to learn right now at a younger age, and of course being understanding of where they are in life and their capabilities of understanding, adjusting for that, to set up the success of the lesson being received and understood and becoming a part of them moving forward. So then I then train my kids to train their kids to do that for their children. So now their children go even farther than them. It's an ongoing thing, an ongoing learning for me, for being a husband, for being a father, for being a brother, for being a son, for being a friend, for being a deckhand at nautical bowls, for being a contributor to Medins Make Music, to the aspects of ministries I'm in with Breakthrough, which if you haven't heard of our band Breakthrough, go over to our YouTube page at Breakthrough Rocks. And you can also check out our website at www.breakthroughrocks.com and follow us on Instagram. If you haven't heard of Medins Make Music, that's where we do a lot of our musical expression through reviewing products in the music industry, and hopefully going to be expanding out to audio for things like the Rodecaster Pro 2, a camera for like the Sony A7 Mark III, which now there's the Mark IV, and I'm hoping to get a couple ZVE10 Mark IIs and work with those. Which, guys, I got some big plans coming up, so stay tuned. Hit subscribe to our channel at Welcome to the Medins. Now, this isn't the end. It was just, it was a perfect plug moment for the band, and it turned into plugging everything. But at our church, The Bridge, helping me to just better understand people and relate to them and actually be able to help them, minister to them, be a blessing to them, and not a hindrance to them growing in their life, or potentially even accidentally teaching them a wrong way of handling something, but now learning how Jesus handled things. And Jesus dealt with a lot of emotional people, and he was very patient. He was very compassionate. He was very understanding in helping people through the struggles that they were dealing with. So I want to be like that. Now, also, fun fact, when this comes out on Thursday, I'm going to be giving the message at our church, The Bridge, that evening. So everyone watching this on YouTube, it'll be yesterday. That's another thing that's been on my mind. So a lot of preparation for that. I was hoping that maybe doing this would kind of help loosen up my vocal cords, my thought processes, since they've been full of cobwebs recently, to be better prepared for speaking in front of a live crowd again, but not in this capacity. So there's an update for you all. What's been going on? What's up with the delays in releasing daily shorts and reels? Why you haven't seen consistency in our weekly episode postings? Along with just, I need to process some things, so I thank you for being there for that. But one of the things that did really lift me up when I was down was my buddy Tom Glover, and this is a story, but also I want to encourage you to go check him out at the Old Art House. Is he sent me 2 more artworks, which are going to be going up on my wall right here pretty soon. I just got to get the frames. He sent me 2 artworks. He's like, dude, I was thinking about you. He said, I just thought that this would be a great pick me up for you. So I wanted to send you these, and they hit the spot. They definitely encouraged me. They helped pick me up. And so if you're looking for someone to help pick you up or encourage someone else, head on over to the Old Art House. You can follow him on Instagram, on Facebook, but you can also head over to his website at www.theoldarthouse.com and go purchase some of his artworks for yourself. They are beautiful. I love what he's doing, and I would really like if you guys did that, because that'd help keep his dream going. So if you don't mind supporting us by subscribing to our channel, following us on Instagram, and liking us on Facebook, go follow my friend Tom Glover at the Old Art House. Follow him on Instagram, like him on Facebook, and buy some of his artwork on his website. And just know, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again next time on Welcome to the Medins.